Lovely. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. So let's just close our eyes to start with. And I wanted to sort of invite you to connect your light to mine, so connecting our heart spaces together so that we can raise the vibrational frequency of the earth. So connecting to the light within you. And I want to bring your attention to the center of your chest. And visualize a light about the size of the thumb. And just notice the natural breath. That expansion on the inhalation from that point of light, as if the light's expanding out. And then that contraction back into itself. So we start to realize that our experience is far greater than the individual. So as we inhale and expand the breath, you get that sense of moving into consciousness, and then as you exhale and we contract, we bring our attention back into the individual self, which is just part of the greater whole. So just stay with that sort of breathing just for a little while, visualizing or imagining, however it works for you, the light expanding and contracting. So as it expands, it recognizes itself as part of consciousness, the universe, God, light, divine, whatever you want to call it. And then as you exhale, you recognize it within the physical vehicle, sitting there, observing this earthly life. And just from that light of awareness at the heart space, scanning the physical body, noticing how the vehicle feels today. And as you're observing the physical vehicle, the biological vehicle, I like the description meat suit because it's so much more visceral. So the suit that we travel around in. Just notice from that light at the heart space the sensation of the breath as it travels into the nostrils. Observing the details of the breath, so the coolness of the breath as it travels into the vehicle. Feel the sense of it's coming in from the outer greater whole, but at the same time as it comes in, it expands us out into that greater whole. And then as we exhale and we release from the individual self, it travels back out. So there's no separation between ourselves and everything that exists in the universe. And just being aware of the eternal exchange as it's described in the Yukti verses of the Radiant Sutras, the Vibrational Tantra. So being aware of the flow of the divine as it pours into the body, and then there's that moment when it turns and becomes the exhalation, and then the exhalation turns again and becomes the inhalation. So just like everything in the universe, it is a circle. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end in a circular fashion that just keeps on going. And there's this dance of divine energy that comes in with the breath. And that light at the heart is indestructible. It has always existed and has taken many forms as vehicles, and it will never cease to exist. Recognizing that truth within you at the heart space, feeling that connection deeper into the self. Almost as if we're leaving the world of the senses, of the physical body, which form part of our ego clinging, and we're just entering the world of the self. And beautiful, iridescent, white, golden light. You can also visualize it as a flame, however it works for you, however you connect to it. So we're going to use the Hasta Mudras actually tonight to connect more deeply to our true self through the sound of Om. So bring the thumb and index finger together, so you've got that first chin mudra. And simply be aware of the sensation of the breath into the biological vehicle, observing it from the heart space, the experience of the movement of the diaphragm into the visceral organs, the expansion, front, side, back. That continuing movement from the consciousness to the individual self with each breath, expansion, contraction. And remember that beautiful line from the Upanishads: as great as the universe is outside of us is the space within the lotus of the heart. Let's create the first sound, which is the sound that is the creator sound. Take a deep breath in. Just allow yourself to rest in the silence after the sound, observing the experience from the awareness of light at the heart space, the presence of something that is other than the physical body. It's other than our emotions. And neither is it the thoughts, because it can observe all of those things. So just observing that there is an eternal witness at the heart space, experiencing life on earth. Many believe that earth is simply a school for us to recognize our true nature, which is one of divine light. Lovely. Now bring the last 3 fingers in, keep the loop. Chinmaya Mudra. Feel that expansion and contraction of the light at the heart as you breathe in and out. And the oo sound here, the second part of the Om, the Pranavayam, is the sustaining energy. So the energy that maintains, energy that is created. So these are the 3 phases of existence. Take a deep breath in. Again, just resting in the silence after the sound. And again, be aware that there is a presence at the heart space that is observing this human experience. Because we can observe our emotions, we can observe our thoughts, we can observe our body. Be aware of the observer. Bring the thumbs in, Adi Mudra. Let the energy rise to the apex of the lungs, and the sound is the destructive energy that ends that which is created, and then it cycles again. Take a deep breath in. And resting. observing, witnessing the experience of the sound and the silence. Bring the hands into Brahma Mudra. So Brahma is another name for consciousness, everything that exists. And that includes Prakriti, so the physical world is part of consciousness, just as our individual self is. So our true experience of self is beyond duality. Although we feel that there is separateness, the reality, the truth is that there isn't. So let's bring those three sounds together and really feel that circular nature of Om, and also on an understanding of how everything cycles on a microcellular level. You know, cells come into existence and then they are maintained by pranic energy and then they cease to exist. Same with our thoughts, same with each breath, same with cycles of the seasons, and expanding that out into, you know, the cycle of the waves, the cycle of the universe itself as it moves through each yuga, which is approximately 26,000 years. And we are moving through to a very important part of that yuga now. And the vibrational frequency of the planet is lifting. So these practices are more and more important now to expand light out into the world to help everyone lift their vibrational frequency and all beings. So let's work with the three-syllabled Om. Take a breath in. And then it ceases. Then we breathe in again. We consciously breathe out and create the sound. Let the hands rest in Chin Mudra. Attention at the heart. Be aware of that radiant being that you are, as well as the biological vehicle, which is also part of us. feeling the expansion and contraction of the light. I want you to think a smile without actually smiling and feel that deep connection to the energy at the heart space. The pure energy. The energy that is indestructible and cannot be touched by anything. And this is why we use the heart space and the visualization of light there to transmute the heavier energy. So some people might call it negative energy. It's just heavier energy. So these cycles of darkness that we travel through in our own individual lives, in our physical body, through pain, emotional pain, mental pain, suffering is a denser energy. So think of it as just a heavy vibrational energy that we're shifting. That can be helpful sometimes. So let's start to work into the Tonglen practice. So with your attention on that beautiful light, as you inhale, imagine a window in the center of the body, and you're allowing that to draw in the darker energy. It comes in. And remember, it just acts like a fuel, so we're just transmuting it. It can't harm us or touch us. And then as we exhale, we push it out. And we send out light into the world. So like we become what's called the way seers or the way showers. So inhaling the heavier energy of suffering and exhaling the light of love. Just feel that continual transformation of energy. So this is the original alchemy. This is the true alchemy. And really work, so just working simply with the change of texture of this light, this denser energy, which is a darker colour. Maybe it's like a grey, or maybe you can go for black, sticky stuff, whatever you feel that you can work with. And then you're exhaling this light. And we're literally lifting, we're filling the world with light. We are transmuting the heavier energies that have become out of control. It's a time of great change that we're living through. Although at times it feels difficult, it's actually a real privilege to be here on planet Earth whilst we go through these changes of bringing in the divine feminine and bringing balance. Good. Now let's start to work on ourselves first. So remember, we can't help others if we have an empty cup. So let's fill our cups up. So being aware of your own denser energies, which we could label, if we wish to, suffering in the physical body, in our emotional body, and in our mental body. Maybe we're trapped in cycles of thought that can spiral us down into negativity. Just observing it rather than judging it, observing it for what it is, which is simply energy vibrating at a lower frequency. Gather it in, pull it into the heart space, draw in this stickiness, this heaviness, and feel a sense of upsurge in yourself. And then as you exhale, fill your entire being with light. So you can visualize your entire body vibrating with this beautiful, shimmering light. Just pulling in your awareness of your own suffering into the heart space, using the light at the heart space, that indestructible light being, to transmute the suffering, let it fill the body. be aware of a sense of shift in your own energy. So shift from that denser, more stickier energy that we label suffering. And feel a sense of lightness and expansion as we connect to the greater consciousness that we are part of. And feel a sense of when we release these patterns of energy, that we move to a different place where we can observe more clearly and we have more energy to help others and to help collectively transform planet Earth. Lovely. Let's do a few more breaths for ourselves. So really feel deep into yourself with total honesty. Look into that mirror. And when you feel resistance to change, which is inevitable, see if you can replace it with acceptance and courage. If it helps, imagine yourself as a beacon of light, walking through the world, bringing in light for more people to see the truth, however it works for you. So just really feeling that expansion, the increase in the volume of energy vibrating at a higher frequency within you. And really a sense of kindness towards yourself. So if we're not kind to ourselves, we create an internal chain of events that can create anger, judgment, jealousy, all of these heavier emotions. And we just need to be kind to ourselves, to have more acceptance about where we are, and to acknowledge that where we are is exactly where we're meant to be, because everything that we experience is an opportunity to learn, good or bad. It's an experience. So just a few more breaths, shifting that energy. You might even feel that as you go deep into your own body, there's a sense of shifting heaviness around the hips, so deep-seated habits that have been put in place since childhood, where you may have reacted as a small child and then put habits in place that were great for the small child to protect themselves, but they're still there and they don't really serve the adult you anymore. So just notice that. Give thanks to the inner child for protecting you when you were younger. And just saying it's okay to let go of those energy patterns now. And bringing that child into the light. And maybe other times in your life where perhaps relationships ended and there was heartbreak, and that created a habit, that created a resistance to change. Noticing all of that, recognizing it simply as an energy pattern and transmuting it through the heart space. So I'm getting a sense that I'm being told to just continue with our own self for a bit longer. So I have had more channeling happening recently. So as you breathe in, I want you to really sit up straight and feel a sense of power coming into you. And with that power is a purpose. And that purpose, might not be to be a huge leader. It might just be to be the best grandma or the best mother, or helping people, strangers that you don't really know. It's just these small things, these small acts of kindness create profound shifts. So really feeling a sense of breathing in, a sense of personal power that comes from this awareness of the self at the heart. And as you focus on your light, I want you to notice how these words vibrate within you. So just noticing, without any resistance or aversion, just observing the words. So keep breathing in, filling that space with light. I know who you are. I know what you are. I know how you serve. You are here. You are here. You are here. Feel that sense of presence. So although we can't touch it, we can't describe it, we can't draw it, it's there. It's a different type of sense that connects us to our true nature. So it's time now to move to a loved one. So I want you to move to a loved one, friend, family member, someone who's easy to be with. Start to visualize them. Feel it from the heart space. So there's this heart connection, one-to-one to this other person. So if you've got a few people coming to mind, go through that process of connecting to each of their hearts, and your intuition will allow you to know exactly who is right to work with energetically tonight. So bring that person to mind. Really feel that closeness to them. Imagine you're sitting with them in the same room. And as you observe them, notice how the physical body shows suffering within them, how the emotions maybe play out on the face. Maybe look into the eyes and really actually look beyond the eyes and feel into the heart of this person. And when you're ready, start to see this heavy energy pouring out of them because they're with you and they feel safe in your presence, because you have this light, like a lighthouse beacon, to show the way to others. And when you're ready, breathe in this heavier energy that's denser. We're going to transform it. Feel the heart space opening, expanding. And as you exhale, send out the light. Let it pour directly into their heart space, expanding their own awareness of their truth. And the more they connect to the truth at the heart space, the reduction of suffering starts to happen. Keep breathing. Again, really thinking a smile so you can feel that genuine shift in vibrational frequency as you're sending out that energy of love, compassion, kindness that transforms those denser energy fields. The genuine wish for that person to be free from suffering and to find joy in their life, to find contentment. And notice as you're sitting with them and you're consciously transmuting and alchemizing this energy, notice that there's a subtle change in their physicality, there's a subtle change in their facial expressions. Maybe they're starting to soften, and you can see maybe you're talking to them and there's a small smile, and then perhaps there's a little bit of laughter. Let's do 3 more really well-focused breaths. So really focusing all the effort on the moving and shifting of this energy, transforming. Lovely. Now let's move to a stranger. So remember, when we do this, it's a familiar stranger because it makes it very easy to practice this instantly when we're out and about. So a familiar stranger, somebody who you see passing the house perhaps each day and you don't really know them, but you can recognize their face. Maybe it's somebody who serves you at the supermarket or the local shop. Maybe it's somebody you meet when you're out walking the dog. And maybe you know the first name, or more likely you know the dog's name. And you see them and you can see that maybe there's a slump in their posture and there's like a holding over the heart space, and you recognize that maybe they're not quite as right as they could be. So just recognizing that, seeing it as a heavier, denser energy, and we would label that suffering. And remember, it's just a label. We're just transmuting energy. When you're ready, drawing in their suffering, see it as a cloud. So we just recognize it as denser energy, bring it to the heart space, which is high vibrational light. And it's just totally transformed by the light. The light just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And we exhale that light to the person with a genuine wish for them to be well, to feel joy and contentment in their life. Be aware of the subtle expansion of your own heart space. As you recognize the quality of light there, let it expand. Let it expand out into the world to help others. physically. Now I want you to work with somebody you find it difficult to be with. So often at this point in the meditation, some people get a reaction. It's quite difficult working with people you find it difficult to be with. And that is a reaction pattern that comes from ego through experience of the physical body. So step back from that, because when you recognize that light within yourself, that truth of knowing who you are, what your purpose is, and that you are here in this physical body, you start to recognize that in everybody else that you meet, regardless of their behavior. And it changes things somehow. It gives us a different dimensional shift. And although we can't necessarily condone some of the behavior that people have, often it's done in ignorance, which is one of the 3 poisons. So see this person's behavior as suffering. And that doesn't mean to say that this person is somebody you need to spend all your energy on trying to fix, because you can't fix other people. But you can shift your reaction with that person, so you can change the way you react to them. And that might be that you just simply put your arms around them and say, would you like a cup of tea? You seem to be a little bit stressed today. Or that you choose to walk away, and that's fine too. So just seeing that person, recognizing their behavior as a lack of connection to their light. Because the more you connect to the light, the freer you become to suffering, which is ego clinging, and everything is based in fear. So when you're ready, breathe in that suffering. And as you exhale, send out the light with that genuine, heartfelt wish for that person to be free from their suffering, to find joy, to find ease in their life. And notice that there may be a softening within you towards that person as well, in terms of there's less reaction in you. So you're, by recognizing the suffering in that other person, you recognize how your reactions create suffering within you. So just noticing it, and maybe you're playing out as you breathe and you work with this person, that you're playing out the next interaction that you might have with them, where it's, let's say, less abrasive, and you maybe feel less threatened by their behavior because you recognize it as something other than what you thought it was. Or perhaps you make an honest choice to walk away. And that's a form of care for you and for that other person as well. So whatever you find happens is the right thing for you. So you don't have to, we're not prescribing here, we're allowing our intuition to guide us. Maybe there's a situation at work where you find it difficult to articulate how a situation impacts you, and that you're able to play that out here now and feel that internal power to create positive change and speak your truth calmly and productively. Let's go for a few more breaths. deeply. Now really feel that light at the heart space, that truth, that you know who and what you are, and you know your purpose, and you know that you are here, present within the physical body. You are here. And that we can recognize that in everybody else. So imagine now that that attention that we have, our own heart space, can be projected into everybody else that we meet. We see this light in everybody. And I want you to start to expand your awareness out to encompass everybody perhaps in your house, the next door neighbours, the street, the location that you live in, the area that you live in, the village, town, city, wherever you live. Expand it right out. Expand it out into the whole of the UK, and then be aware of the heart space expanding out. And this light is just, it's like pushing out, 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 and it's engulfing everything. Out into Europe, over into the USA, into Russia, all the way around the globe. The Antarctic, the Arctic. Just cover the globe and let everything be connected to this light. And imagine every human being engulfed in this high vibrational light, which removes the fear that causes suffering. It's also the fear that causes war. So let it be engulfed by the light. And allow that light to engulf all beings, all creatures that are caught up in the human struggle. The sea and all the creatures that live in the sea on a microscopic level, as well as a huge whale. Just encompass them all. All creatures on the land, all the insects in the air and the birds, all the plants, every living organism on earth, let it be filled with this light. And as you breathe in, draw in any suffering of the planet Earth itself. Mother Earth is crying out for our help. And fill light. Let it just expand, expand, expand. And feel that sense of that the physical body is dissolved because the light is so bright that's emanating from your heart space, that it has dissolved the delusion, so maya, of the physical world. So although the physical world is very real, it also creates a play that can be very dramatic, and we get sucked into that. So just allow all of that heaviness to fall away. And a sense of everything being lifted up into a higher frequency of light, where there is peace, there is cooperation, there is the recognition that we are connected to everything. Just feeling that sense of change. So, as we hold this space, continuing to connect to my heart, I'm receiving some codes, so if you wish to receive them, allow yourself to receive them. So light codes are simply a frequency of information that isn't necessarily, but sometimes is, it isn't necessarily translated into a linear language. It's a felt experience that shifts the heavier energy that creates the illusion or the delusion that we have. So I'm just allowing them to pour in. They're coming in through my head. Ninisono oro mrebete kesiana a haria netasia horoto kushiwaha itikisiano tototukwanaha hiriano noshano no totokwana nanasia tatakara tokushano no tototowa hebriana nanasia tatakataka hebriano noshana 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 nosha hiriana nasia horoto kushano wa takaka Heroto koshono no wana nanasia tataka. Hebrete kisiono no shono oro totokoana hasiana na tatake. Hebrete kisiono shono no totokoro. Orobota kisiana na hakarea na atakasiana na tataka. Hebrete kisiono no shono otokoro. Horbete kisiana na Christiana otokoro oto shoana. Hekreatisiano tushana. Hebrea dush kukuroto kwa harbete siana ha arianiana sia orbo tukusiono ushuno oro hruata kasiana ha yerbedene siana oro yonoshana natataka shiniwa yenisiana noshana oro. So just really connecting to the light and allowing yourself to anchor it into the body. And to allow it to expand through you, anchoring it right down into the Muladhara chakra. And then feeling a sense of truth speaking that is spoken with gentleness and kindness, non-violence. Siniwana breteke siana noshana utukuru, siniwana nasya tatakana, ikriya shaya ushananataka. So taking your attention to the third eye and being aware that there is a bigger picture at play here that's playing out. Sinuru to shwana nasya tataka. Ibretike siana noshana nakasiana ha, moving through change. Isiana wana nakataka. Hibriano noshano no wana nasiana toto kakabariana nasia tatataka. Feel that sense of interconnection. And when we really connect to others through the light at our own heart, we get subtle shifts of energy all the time, subtle shifts of awareness in relationships. Let your attention focus deep into that light at the heart space now. That particle of infinity that resides within the physical body. Let the hands come to the heart space. Be aware of a sense of the hands. So we're observing the hands from this particle of infinity. They're illuminated by the light because the light is so expansive. And as we bring the arms up and we inhale, be aware of that exchange of the consciousness that is everywhere coming in to connect deeply to that particle of infinity, which is part of the greater whole. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Gather in the whole of the universe and feel it come in, deep into the heart space. And namaste.